So today is part 2 of my greenhouse makeover series, and today is all about my variegated succulents, which is very exciting. So what I'm going to be doing and why I've done this move really is because of my variegated succulents. So if you've seen part 1 of this video or this series, I did have my variegated ones on a shelf kind of over here. I'll insert a link so you can watch that if you haven't already. But I found they were getting a little bit too much light, and some of them were getting a little bit scorched. So I'm actually rearranging my whole greenhouse, and I kind of didn't realise how big the task was going to be. So today is part 2, like I say, and it's going to be rearranging this shelf and finding a home for my variegated succulents. So I thought what I would do is show you how I'm arranging them and then go through each one as well, so you kind of get a tour as well as seeing where they're going to go. So let's get started. First of all, I need to kind of tidy up this shelf. I don't know if you can see, but there's a big space over this side. It's very dirty at the minute, so I just need to give it a sweep, and then I need to make some room for them to move in, basically. So I'm going to talk to you about my thoughts and that as we go through it, and do lots of time lapses so you can kind of see what goes on, and obviously see the absolutely beautiful variegated succulents. So let's get into it. So first things first, I'm going to make some room. So I just need to move as many of these as I can, because I think the light is quite strong down the far left side and also down the far right. I am going to look at doing some temporary shade netting like I have done over this side, over this shelf. So I think the perfect location really for them is in the middle here. So what I would like to do is have the bigger ones at the back and then the smaller ones at the front, so it's kind of a staggered effect. So I'm just going to move these onto a tray and have a tidy. So the shelf is now prepped, nice and clean. I've kept some down that end because I don't want my variegated ones down there anyway. I think I'm going to try and add some temporary shade netting maybe to the outside of the greenhouse, because this is 50% shade netting, but there's still a few which I moved down. Where is one that I've moved? I always do this, move things and I forget where I put them. So this one, my red ball, is kind of scorched a little bit around the outside of the leaves. So although they're not burning completely, some of them are scorching. I think it just depends on the succulent. Like this has got quite dark tips, so I wonder if this attracts the light a little bit more. So I'm just going to move these ones which are scorched down to the level below, because they obviously need a little bit of a break. And yeah, I'm just thinking when the sun is out, because at the minute it's kind of cloudy but trying to get through. It's already 30 on one thermometer and 36 on another, so obviously it does get really hot in here. I have the fan on, but I just don't want any risk of scorching my variegated ones. Obviously they've had a lot of light over there, so they're used to a lot anyway, but there are some days where it just is obviously so intense for them. So that's why I'm moving them here. I just need to be extra careful on days which are mentally hot and just pure sunshine, which we are having a lot of, which is lovely, but a bit too much for some of the succulents. So I'm going to bring in my 2 trays. I do have 2 big white trays, a green tray and another one full of variegated ones. I'm just hoping I've got enough room. But I'm going to bring them in and then just have a little play around and see where I want to put them. Here come the beauties. I might just do 1 tray at a time actually, because I'm not going to have any room to play around with. I've got some nails there which are causing issues. Yeah, these shelves are homemade by my husband, so they are doing very well, bless them. Yeah, they're painted with like a waterproof paint, so they yeah, they're pretty good really, considering they're just made out of some cheaper shelving material, because shelves are so expensive. Right, so let's start with, I want the big ones at the back, but I don't want to go too far left or too far right. So I'm going to just play around, put you on a time lapse, and then I'll show you what I've decided on. So that is the kind of tallest, biggest pots put at the back. I'm just a little bit cautious of an area over here, which I think when it rains a lot, I get some drips come into. So I'm just going to kind of say it now out loud so I try to remember it, because I don't want any water dripping, especially over this section. I'm like, what's my least favourite? I don't really have a least favourite, so I don't want to risk anything really. But yeah, I was going to kind of think about that in the future because we're not getting a lot of rain now at the minute anyway. But also these two are quite small, so I think I'm going to repot them into a smaller pot. So I've just put some little labels there to remind myself to do that later, and also try and save some space for them. And then this one is too tall to put at the back. I'm trying to pollinate it, and it's got some really beautiful blooms, so I'm gonna have to try and just leave it where it wants to go at the minute. I could maybe leave it over this side because I haven't finished sorting that side, so maybe I'll leave it over there just to do its thing because it's in bloom and it's loving it. So now I've got all my smaller ones to sort. I don't think I'm going to fill all this space. I haven't got that many variegated ones. It's always quite hard to know when you look at them how many there are, because I was like, oh, I'm going to rearrange my whole greenhouse. Well, no, I've got like over 500 plants. It's going to take me so long to do. So yeah, now I'm going to just concentrate on moving the smaller ones up. I will just show you actually what I've put at the back and what I've chosen. So we may as well have an overview while we're here. I did do a variegated shelf tour recently, but there's no harm in looking again, is there? So I've got a flying cloud, which is quite scorched, so I'm hoping that will grow out quite quickly. Sunset peony, a clavatum, a Casio. This is my butterfly dot, which has grown so nicely recently. A blue surprise, my Salou, Onslow. Apparently I've got 3 of them. I don't know how I've accumulated that many. My Chihuahua houses, that's how I say it. I have no idea how it's pronounced. I'll put the name on screen. A beautiful unicorn poo, I love them. A Luella, I don't know if that's Montrose or a variegated form. A silver star, which I've got 2 of. I've left these outside for about 3 days. Just in a little bit of morning sun, and it's actually been quite cloudy, but these pink tips have formed on it just being outside in the sun, so that's really interesting. A variegated Lilacina, my beautiful rainbow. It's quite big, so I had to kind of squeeze one in here, which hasn't got any on its left side, so it goes quite well, but I might move it up so it's got a little bit more room because it is a beauty. Needs a good old tidy up as well. It's got loads of dead leaves on it, but that's for another day. Another unicorn poo. You can never have enough of those beauties. This one is so thirsty, but it's still doing really well. I always kind of let them kind of want more water before I actually water them, especially at the minute it's just so hot for them. That's my jade star variegated and another rainbow. So yeah, beautiful row there. Absolutely love them. They're going to look amazing. As soon as I walk in, I'll be seeing them, so I'm very happy with that. So I think I want to keep my newer ones together so I know which ones are rooting, so I just need to keep an eye on them, make sure they're rooting, make sure they're looking okay, because I have had some which I imported recently. If you haven't seen that haul, I've got 3 hauls. Yeah, go check them out. They are really interesting, and I love unboxing hauls. Yeah, but some of them rotted, so I'm really annoyed at some really pretty ones. I think it's just the chemicals they use, and then obviously they have to use them as per the requirements that the UK requests, I suppose. And when they dry out, obviously they're not left to dry for that long, and then they're boxed up and wrapped up. So I think if there's even a drip of moisture in there and it's touching the stem, it can cause them to rot. So I have had some casualties, which is really annoying. So yeah, I just want to keep an extra eye on them, especially on the variegated ones, because obviously they are a bit more pricey and they're harder to get hold of. I'm going to keep them all together in one section, and then the other ones which I've had for longer, which are rooted and are more mature, then I can keep together. So that's the thought process. So we'll start that now. I'm going to move these ones out of the way and have a play about. So the next section is done. There's actually so many new ones and ones which are unrooted that I've had to mix them around a little bit because I did lots of headshots with variegated ones. So yeah, I've not got a full section, but I know roughly what's going on here. So let me just give you a little overview. So we've got a Peach Pride. What on earth is this called? This is a type of Crassula. Is it Tom's Thumb? I can't remember. I'll have to put the name on screen, but it's gone really pink recently. It's really pretty when it's stressed and it's very thirsty. I do need to have a bit of a watering session in the greenhouse at some point. This is Tippy. This is a Succulents. This is the Akosi. Got another Lilacina, my Bradberiana, which is halved itself. Esther, Titubans. Can't see that one. Let me move the label. Can't see where my finger is. The Blue Heron, another Onslow. Oh, what is that one called? I never remember that one. It's quite a new one. Where's my label? Here it is. Dream Rose, that is. It's very pretty. It's got loads of heads. Just really thirsty at the minute while it's rooting. This one that got a little bit scorched around the edges, so I'm hoping that'll grow out. That is a Elegans. Beautiful cubic frost cristata. I love those. I've got a few of those because I got kind of a tree that I ordered. This one is my Zestar. I'm just a bit concerned about it. It looks a bit, I don't know. I just obviously got a bit scorched recently, and it is quite plump and firm, but when a succulent starts to rot, obviously it goes yellow. So when they are yellow already, I just am like super paranoid. So I'm just keeping an extra close eye on that one. It is starting to root, which is a good sign. I just think if it shows me any signs that maybe it's lighter in the middle, then I'm probably going to chop it. Because what I've noticed is that if in doubt, just chop it, and you probably will get babies, and hopefully both will live on, like the head and the stem. So if you're buying something which is, well, to be fair, with any succulent, if that happens, then I would just chop it just in case, because if you wait and then it rots, then you've got no chance of obviously saving it. So it's better to err on the side of caution, I would say. This one is a Maria. I love that one. I've got one, I think it must be on the tray I'm now about to do, which I had years ago, and it's very yellow, where this one's really white. So I really like the difference between them. That's really nice. These ones are ones I had chopped quite a while ago, but they're not rooting very quickly, so I'm just going to keep an eye on them. That's a Fun Queen, and that's a Moon Fairy. This one is one I cannot pronounce, so I'll put the name on screen. This one is a Chimera. That is actually one that, if you see one of my hauls that I did, this one came and it was huge, but it was rotting, so I chopped it quite high up, so probably like this is a third of what it was, but it is re-rooting, and the stem is actually, is it in reaching distance? Yes, it is. This is the stem, so I've got some pups on it. I don't think they're variegated at this moment, but you never know what they're going to become. So the stem isn't rooting, but the pups obviously have been produced, and I leaf cropped it, and I've got loads of leaves which are cropping, so that would have completely rotted because the rot was kind of right in the middle, so I had to cut here and then probably this much of the stem, and then from here is now what survived. So it's definitely worth just chopping if in doubt, but to be fair, there was no doubt. If you see that video, that was like yellow and rotting. So yeah, I'm really happy to say that is surviving. What have we got next? Another Succulents. It's quite a big one, but yeah, that's they're ones that I find do rot quite easily, as you probably would have seen in my variegated video. One rotted. I did end up chopping it. I don't think I did an update in that video, but I chopped it, and I'm just waiting to see what happens. There wasn't a lot of head left of it, but we will see. This is a Flamenco, Purple Delight. This is the Black Prince. I'm sure there's a Black Prince. I always get confused with the Black Knight. No, it's a Prince. This one I can never say. A Monoceratosis, we'll go for that. A Monaco, a Viant. That is really pretty. It did have a head drop and it got a bit burned, so it's not looking as good as it did when it first arrived, but it will get there. A Bradberiana cristata, a Pretty in Pink. That's a head drop that's given me about 3 heads recently, so I'm really pleased with that. Golden Castle. That is just stunning. Absolutely in love with that one. Another Bradberiana, but that's a normal form. A Purple Delight. Beautiful Super Balm. I love them. And again, Cubic Frost. I do love the standard ones of these as well. They're brilliant, and they propagate really easily, and they grow so well. So I like a variegated and a non-variegated of that. That's definitely one to have in your collection. This one is a Luella, which has got burnt recently. And I think that's an Angelinus, which is a head from another one that I'll show you shortly. A Captain Hay. There's a Raspberry Ice. On the front here we've got a Peacocky, huge saffron with a beautiful bloom coming. California Queen. I think I mentioned in my other video that there was a huge head that came with that, and it had loads of pups underneath, and the head rotted. It's another one that died from being imported, unfortunately. But they're the pups. I'm hoping they live on, because that was an absolute beauty. This is another variegated cubic frost, my raindrop. I'm so happy I finally own one of those. I actually own two. I've got one outside an arrangement. A setosa with lots of heads. This is I always get these confused. This is a pink Vera. Get confused with that and the pink heron. Cubic frost, a leopard. I think that's really unusual, that one. Really nice patterns on the leaves. A golden glow, a moon glow, a pink heron, a minima, and one of these. Yeah, and that's actually got a little leaf prop coming, so I need to move that into my leaf prop tray. So that's that section. I've just popped these at the front. I need to do something with these. Everything needs to be in a white pot moving forward. This is a lovely Lilacina, which is from a head chop. This is also cubic frost, which a head chop doesn't give me pups, but it's now reverting back to normal form, so I need to get it plumped up so I can chop it again to try and save the variegation. You can see there's a leaf at the very bottom here which is variegated, but the rest isn't, so I need to try and save that variegation before it grows out. See, they can revert back at any time, and unfortunately that's what's happened, but I have pups living on from it, so you win some, you lose some. This is my Metallica. I need to put them on into some white pots. So we're getting somewhere now. I've just done the final tray with the ones which are potted in white pots, so I've just got the brown ones left. So I think I'll just place them up here, but I'm probably going to repot them over the next week or so. Yeah, and add them in. There's not many, there were just some which were a bit burnt and things, so they have been in a brown pot. So I need to now remember which ones I haven't shown you. So we'll start off this end. So we've got Nixana, a Moonglow multi-head one, that's beautiful. This one down here is a Scion. Move this huge thing out of the way. This is a Beyonce. This one is that. I'll just show you that one. It's really pretty, that is. Really hard to see in here because it's very glary at the minute. There we go, Onslow. That is a Raspberry Ice. I've shown you that already. We'll come to the front. We've got an Angelinus. That's the other one of the one that I think is, oh goodness, where is that now? Oh, that's hiding just at the back behind this huge saffron. I think you can see it. So I think that is that one just there. So yeah, I think that's the other head from it. That's a Mabina, which is recovering from being burnt last year. That one, you can see the name, I'm not going to pronounce all of these. A Peacocky. This is my Saffron, which is a bit wobbly. It's not rooting very well because, oh, it's got a bit of shade netting in there. Not rooting very well at the minute because it's got this huge bloom, so I can't really do both at the same time, so I'll just keep an eye on that one. And then we've got another Titbans, an Imbricata, a Polina, Peach Pride. Is that Peach? No, it's a Pudgy. Pudgy. That's my other Silver Star, which looks really different to the pink version over there now from having a bit of a sunbathe. Another Tippy, a Holowari. That is a head chop from last year. That is a Shidekari, which I chopped. It's a different version. I'll have to put the name on the screen because it's a different version of a Shidekari. It's a bit more chunky, and I chopped it and it's now started to grow some variegation. That's a Compactum, I believe. Barclay Light, Mabina. This one I can never say. I'll put the name on the screen. A Lemon Rose. Another Luella. This one is burnt to a crisp, so I'm hoping that I think it's starting to grow out now. That is a, goodness, this is the thing with these labels. I've started using pencil now because I can't read them. It might be my crisp bony, but there is a pup coming over the other side. That is Beyonce, Green Emerald, Saraheim, a Simosa. No idea. I'm not very good at pronouncing them. Polidonis, Olivia. That's the other Maria that I mentioned. So that's really yellow compared to the whiteness of the newer one over there. A Peacocky, and a cubic frost. And I'm gonna chop these ones. I think this ghost one's got quite leggy, so I might chop it and then leave it outside. And same with this Bane side, that's getting quite tall as well. So I'm gonna give them a good drink and then give them a chop in a few days. Is there anything I've missed over here? No, I think that is everything at the minute. So that is the shelf coming together really nicely. I've done it into more of a triangle, so I can then put my non-variegated ones next to either side. Yeah, so they're kind of like centerpiece, and then you've got the non-variegated either side of it. Yeah, I've just got these ones here, but I'm going to just repot them and have a little, give them a little bit of TLC and a health check and see how they're getting on or while I'm repotting them, and then I can just sit on the front row there. So that is the variegated shelf at the minute. So that's it for the shelf number 2 of the Rearranging series. Yeah, I'm really happy with how they look at the minute. I think they look really organised, really just neat and tidy. So if you want to see part 3, which is when I continue to do the rest of the shelf with the non-variegated ones, please subscribe to see that. And if you've got any questions, is there anything you would do differently? How would you place yours? If you've got any suggestions for me, I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, thanks for watching today, and I'll see you next time.